Should Russell Wilson be okay with how that turned out?
Russell Wilson, first of all, who cares what Russell Wilson thinks? Russell Wilson.
Here you go, Sal.
Well, I mean, look.
You don't care what Deshaun think. You don't care what Russ think. Nobody think.
No. Well, actually, I do care what Deshaun thinks. And I care that he thanks Cal McNair in his love letter to Houston when he signed for $156 million early. I actually do care when Russell Wilson signed not once, twice, 2 blockbuster deals. I care what they think then. And right now, I don't, because last time I checked, they still doing direct deposits. So if you you want me to care what you think, stop doing direct deposits, then I might start thinking you are really about that action. This is fake drama. One, Chicago, good Lord, you guys really went aggressive in terms of trying to acquire Russell Wilson.
Correct.
Duh, because Russell Wilson's top 3 in the league, top 5 for sure. We get it. But damn, Seattle is sitting there like, let me let you know how much we love Russell Wilson. One, we're going to turn down that offer, which seems almost absurd, even though Russell Wilson is great. But I'll tell you why they did turn down that offer. Because they are not trading him. They never were going to trade him. This is a bunch of fake smoke. You don't lose a top 3 quarterback and absorb a $39 million cap hit, which is what it would have been if they were to trade him to the Chicago Bears. $39 million is going to cost us, and we lose Russell Wilson? What the hell do you guys think this is? Football at the professional level is a business first. So I love the fake drama of all this. I love the fact that Russell Wilson somehow, some way leaked out that, hey, there are 4 teams I'm interested in. Go Hawks. Suckers. He said the Bears. And the Bears were trying, and the Bears was like, man, look, we're not going with Trubisky. He's a free agent. Let's just move on. We were horrible last year in terms of offensive efficiency. Let's go. Nope. Then he said the Cowboys. Cowboys like, we got Dak Prescott. Move. Saints. We got Jameis Winston. Move. Raiders. We got Derek Carr. He had his best year last year. What you talking about? So what are you talking about, Russell Wilson? It's a lot of fake drama to create leverage that he doesn't have. They were never going to trade him. He knew the cap hit that it would take on the Seattle Seahawks to let him go. Fake drama. Sorry, Russell. Don't care what you think.
The thing is, it may or may not be fake drama, but Russell Wilson should be sick he didn't get that move to Chicago. And I say it like this, Phil. Matt Nagy is the coach Russell Wilson wants. I don't know if Matt Nagy is the coach Russell Wilson needs, but he's the coach Russell Wilson wants. Remember, Matt Nagy was formed as a coach under Andy Reid. Andy Reid, who coached Donovan McNabb, Andy Reid, who's coaching Patrick Mahomes. That's who Matt Nagy is looking for in a quarterback. Unfortunately for Matt Nagy, he's stuck and has been stuck with Mitch Trubisky. But who he wants and who he needs is Russell Wilson. And who Russell Wilson wants and Russell Wilson needs is Matt Nagy. Just look at their pass percentage over the last 3 years. That is the Chicago Bears versus Seattle Seahawks. On the left, you'll see the Bears under Matt Nagy, his first year, second year, third year, constantly climbing. 27th in passing, 11th in passing, 6th in passing percentage of offensive plays where you're trying to pass the ball. Meanwhile, the Seahawks are climbing, if you will, but not nearly as rapidly. Russell Wilson this whole time has said, I'm a capable quarterback of putting the team on my back. I don't want to be a run-first offense. I want to be a pass-first offense. And I've shown y'all I'm a top 5 passer, so let me do that. Seahawks aren't letting him do that. So if I'm Russell Wilson and I'm not thinking about go Hawks, I'm not thinking about the Seahawks brand, I'm thinking about myself, I'm thinking about my wife, I'm thinking about my kids. I'm thinking, hey, I would have rather be in Chicago because Chicago was actually where I could thrive. And otherwise, Sal, think about the path of least resistance.
Okay.
You talk about that all the time. And when you're talking about your Dallas Cowboys, the path of least resistance, the NFC East is so bad.
Yeah.
The NFC West is the toughest division in football since Russ showed up. All 4 teams have made it to a conference championship game. 3 out of the 4 teams have made it to a Super Bowl, with a few teams appearing twice. So, Russ, you could have gone over to Chicago, where you really only got to contend with the Packers, because the Detroit Lions, they in a rebuild. The Vikings appear to have plateaued under Kirk Cousins, a fringe playoff team. The Bears have already made the playoffs 2 of the 3 years under Nagy with Mitch, and last year Mitch and Nick Foles not figuring out who's a starter. Russell Wilson could have made crazy noise in Chicago. And if I'm Russell Wilson, I'm upset I didn't get that move.
Yeah, you really over here glowing and waxing poetic on Chicago like it's all that. And I don't know if your full screen fully showed the entire picture.
Talk to me.
You had pass percentage up there, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what about run percentage? Oh, we ain't gonna talk about that. What about defense? Oh.
We can talk about that.
You want to talk about defense?
We can talk about Chicago defense.
We can talk about how Chicago didn't have a top 10 scoring defense for the first time. They were 14th ranked last year since 2016 when they went 3-13. So Russell Wilson, this is what bothers me about any athlete who thinks they're going to run somewhere else and it's just going to be greener pastures immediately, especially quarterbacks, because they have the greatest impact. Everywhere you go, there you are, brother. Russell Wilson, you haven't even shown yet fully that you can live up to your end of the bargain in Seattle. But now you're going to go to Chicago, where the defense has now been a little more compromised, where they don't have the same weapons offensively as you do in Seattle. You remember DK Metcalf? Me too. Remember Tyler Lockett? Me too. And you're going to leave there. Now, they do have weapons, but they don't have the same amount of arsenal. And you're going to go there and things is just going to work out for you. Why is that? Because this is the same Russell Wilson in the playoffs. You're talking about they've been there 2 of the 3 years in Chicago. What has Russell Wilson done in the playoffs lately? Let's not talk about last year when he threw the pick six and 40% completion percentage against a quarterback who got traded because they didn't even want him with the LA Rams. Let's talk about in his last 9 playoff appearances. What is his record? 3-6. Losing quarterback? Look, the equity of him winning the Super Bowl and then going back the next year, throwing the interception, losing the Super Bowl. It seems yesteryear if he wants to move on, because what the Chicago Bears should be looking at is top 3 quarterback, but somehow in the second half of seasons and certainly in the playoffs, not the same quarterback. So that mirror that he's not looking in Seattle will follow him to Chicago. Russell Wilson still has to look in the mirror. I don't think he fixes all their issues.
But, Sal, you bring up a point that I fully agree with. I'm just going to talk about it from a different perspective.
All right.
You say that quarterbacks and players run to greener pastures and think they're greener pastures, or the mirror follows you wherever it goes. For Russell Wilson, I think that's a good thing, because Russell Wilson makes the pastures green. Before Russell Wilson showed up to Seattle, 7-9. Russell Wilson shows up, second year as a starter, Super Bowl, win. Third year as a starter, Super Bowl appearance. So if he were to go to Chicago and they were an 8-8 team last year that made it to the playoffs, Russell Wilson got to be at least good for, would you say, 3 more wins?
Yeah.
At least 3 more wins.
At least.
So you go from 8-8 in Chicago to at least, again, we're talking about 11-5.
Okay.
I would rather be the same 11-5 I was in Seattle, but happy. I would rather be the same 11-5 and 12-4 I was in Seattle, but at least now I'm playing the game the way I want to play the game. I'm doing it the way I want to do it. Marcellus, you talked the last block about having to go to work. Everybody got to go to work for the most part in America.
Damn
if you want to live, if you want to have a roof over your head, you got to go to work. We all got to go to work. But at least when I come here, I'm happy.
Are you happy?
Sometimes.
I'm about to say, you leaving me for real, huh? What's up?
Everybody got to work, so you might as well be happy doing it. Russ,
facts.
You're going to have to more than likely carry a team regardless where you are. So you might as well be more content where you are doing it. And he would have been more content doing it in Chicago because him and Matt Nagy are a better match. Matt Nagy wants to pass the ball. Russ wants to pass the ball. Pete Carroll wants to run the ball, but Russ wants to pass the ball. That is the dilemma. Russ would have had the same record in Chicago as he had in Seattle, would have had an easier pass to the playoffs than in Seattle, and probably would have had the same outcome. Bears defense last year, 1st overall, 4th overall, 14th overall. Seahawks defense last year was 22nd. So I'm just saying he might have had more success in the Chi.
Boy, you better stop talking about got to go to work and be happy. Take your ass to McDonald's and get a Happy Meal. That's all you got to do. And they got them in Seattle. They probably got more in Seattle than they do in Chicago. I got to be happy. No, you want to be happy at work, but you got to get that check. That's why you're going to work. Me and my wife just had this discussion. I was like, baby, she acts like since I go to work and she got to stay at home with the kids, like I'm winning. I'm like, baby, you think I want to go to work and see Acho and busting out of shirts every single day?
Most people would.
No, actually, I do like coming to work. But that's not my point. My point is this. You just, once again, cooked the books to make Chicago look better than Seattle. And you went back and said, what were the Seattle Seahawks before Russell Wilson went there? 7-9, and boom, bump. I give Russell Wilson credit for that. But Russell Wilson wasn't the only thing that changed in Seattle. The year before Russell Wilson got there, who was their quarterback? Tavares Jackson, rest in peace, right? Tavares Jackson was their quarterback.
Yes, sir.
But you know what changed from this team? This was a team that was stuck in terms of the defensive prowess. 25th ranked, 3 straight years in scoring defense, right? The next year they get Tavares Jackson, they're 7th ranked. And then Pete Carroll's like, I got the defense I want. We 7th ranked. Uh-oh. We still not that good, 7 and 9. We got to switch quarterbacks. So they went out there and got, what was his name?
Matt Flynn.
Matt Flynn. He didn't even make it through camp. Then Russell Wilson took his job in the 3rd round, drafted, and boom, they off to the races. What was the defense that year? What was the defense? Anybody? Anybody at home? Y'all text, tweet? What is it? Twitter, Twitch, something? What was the defense?
See, first.
First. What was the next year? First. What was the next year? First. What was the next year? First. Russell. Hey, man, don't act like it's all on you. You game manager, plus. You handoff specialist, plus. And all of a sudden, you got that defense. He goes to Chicago. I just told you. What's their scoring defense right now? 14th. And the Bears, even though Matt Nagy's there and he has an offensive mind, the defense is not the same. I have not seen Russell Wilson, as you said earlier, bring the defense up to a standard where they can go out there and have Super Bowl aspirations. He's not greater than his circumstance if the defense and running game is not with him.